Welcome to Tech Talk with WSU Tech, where we dive into all things WSU Tech and highlight the voices within our college community. I am Mandy Fouse, and today we have the honor of chatting with Sam Nava. Sam, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, we're so excited to talk with you. So the way that we like to kick this off is we'd like for you to introduce yourself and for you to tell a little bit about how you move the mission of the college forward.
Okay. So again, my name is Sam Nava. I'm the director for Hispanic Serving Initiatives and the Community Navigator Program here for WSU Tech. I don't know how I push it. I mean, Sherry created this position in hopes of engaging with the community. So obviously with the Community Navigator Program, we're ingrained in community resource centers. And then from there, it's kind of just connecting with different leaders within the community, different organizations. There's sub-pockets in Wichita. So every community is so different that even us as navigators, it's like different approach to how we work in those communities.
Right. And how many years have you been here?
Like 2.5 now.
2.5. Wow. I still feel like you're the new guy on campus.
No, yeah.
But
Sometimes it feels like that.
yeah. But I mean, time flies when you're having fun,
literally,
right?
Right. Truly.
Let's talk a little bit about your Hispanic Serving Initiatives and about our designation as a Hispanic Serving Institution. What is HSI and what does that mean for WSU Tech?
Right. So HSI, again, stands for Hispanic Serving Institutions. It's a designation given by the Department of Education, which makes a college eligible for Title III and Title V grants. Those type of grants, they're aimed to help the colleges push initiatives to help underserved populations and communities. So to become an HSI, we had to have 25% Hispanic enrollment as a college.
Okay.
And we were able to hit that milestone this past year. So it's a good milestone to hit. And now that, we have hit that milestone, we have the designation. Now it's kind of like, what are we doing? What initiatives are we creating? How are we helping these communities better themselves and better the community as a whole?
Great. So you're saying this is going to open up some opportunities as far as funding.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? Like what that looks like?
Yeah. So I guess the best way to put it is obviously Hispanic serving, right? So the enrollment is there, but now what are we doing to serve the communities? What are we doing to help people get to college, get through college, and get jobs after that? So with some of the funding pieces, that's kind of what we're looking forward to is helping our students transfer, helping our students get jobs after, helping create programs to offer opportunities for these communities that traditionally don't have them. So some of the things that we've been talking about is our students who get their associates in like welding, AMT. Big part of the Hispanic community is my dad was a welder, so I want to be a welder. But how do we elevate that? And now with OLL being on board is how can we get our students to go through OLL and, better themselves, get these higher positions inside of companies and things like that.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, OLL is the Organizational and Leadership and Learning a degree at Wichita State, which that's a program that students can enter and get their bachelor's degree. Is that right?
Yes, correct. So what's cool about that bachelor's program is that they take their work experience as credit hours. So it fast tracks their, the college process because as they're working, they're building that college credit and getting credit for it. Saying credit a lot, but still that's what it is getting college credits while you're working to get your bachelor's degree.
That's great. And that works for any of our technical programs.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So it's such a really cool thing to take students from, from technical certificates all the way up to bachelor's degrees. Yeah. Really awesome. So Sam, what specific opportunities or doors does the HSI designation open for WSU Tech in regards to like partnerships and student services?
Yeah, so one of my main initiatives is creating opportunities and finding funds for undocumented and DACA recipient students. Again, DACA was an immigration policy that was passed that if a child entered the United States before a certain amount of time, they were able to apply for DACA, and it's guarantees that, they don't get deported, they get a social security number, so they're able to work as well. But again, how do we elevate them and create funding opportunities? Because DACA and undocumented students, they're ineligible to apply for the FAFSA. So when we talk about Kansas Promise, when we talk about FAFSA and Pell Grant, those students are just, they're forgotten about. So how do we help them go through college and help them find good jobs at the end of it? One of the big things, again, is immigration reform. So how do we as a college push that to the higher powers, the legislation, and be like, hey, in Wichita, almost 20% of the population is Hispanic. So that's going to be a big portion of your workforce that you'd be dumb if you ignore. So how do we get that population involved, get into these positions to be able to get opportunities to get jobs and help fill these, all the jobs that we keep talking about that are out there that we can't fill?
Yeah. So I think it was, about 3 years ago, right before you came on board, that WSU Tech made the intentional move to include engaging our Hispanic population in Wichita with our college community. How have you seen, since you've come on board, or since, you've been in the Wichita community, how have you seen the impact of these actions? What have you seen happen?
Right. So with the Community Navigator side of my job, right, actually being in the neighborhood there at Evergreen on the north side, which is predominantly Hispanic, we meet the community where they're at, whether that's, square one, and teach them about college credits. A college credit, that's how you calculate how many classes you take. That's how much college costs, because a lot of the students are first generation, so their parents don't have an understanding of the college concept here in the United States. So how do we explain to them, if your daughter is a citizen, they're eligible for the Pell Grant if, depending on income, but applying for FAFSA, filling it out, finding scholarships, and then that's where our partners there at Evergreen has been able to kick in, specifically with the Kansas Hispanic Education and Development Foundation, KHEDF for short. They do such a great job at helping raise funds for these undocumented DACA recipients, just Hispanic students in general. But what's great with them is we've been able to partner, create mentorships for them, and, allow them to truly prosper in college and after. So setting up with a mentor by major. So, if you want to be in digital marketing and there's someone out there that's doing graphic design, we help partner them up to, kind of guide them into what it looks like after college and while they're in college, connecting with the right organizations in the community and things like that. Just explaining college is probably been our biggest challenge right now, and one that's really rewarding because once we go through these presentations and these workshops, the parents are like, okay, I'm ready for my child to go to college. I'm confident that you're able to help them. And what's really great about this program is that Sherry made it really clear from day one that we don't stop at WSU Tech. Right. I'll drop the B word, Butler. If someone wants to go to Butler, I'll help them fill out their FAFSA. I'll help them find scholarships. I'll help them connect with the right person on that campus, because it's one of those things is I don't know who to connect with. Myself, when I was going through the college planning process, my mom, she didn't speak English. She didn't know how to use a computer. What she did, she just gave me her social security card and was all like, here's my social security number, fill out what you need to do. So I kind of had to figure it out on my own,
Wow.
And now that I'm lucky enough to be in this position to help others, I don't want people to go through what I had to go through. Because, I took out student loans. I didn't find scholarships. I went through it like the complete opposite way that you should, Yeah. I was a traditional transfer student. I went to Dodge City Community College, transferred to WSU, had to retake classes because they didn't count towards what I wanted to do. So again, I lived through it. So I want to be that person that helps, students not have to do to do what I did, which was, not waste time, but spend more time than I should have.
Right. Well, I didn't know that about you, Sam. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I think that's so incredible. And that just really tells why you're in this role and why you're doing what you do.
Yeah. And when we talk about first generation students, a lot of them are in similar positions where the parents, it's not that they don't want to help, it's they don't know how to help.
Right.
And it's one of those things you just got to be there, be present, and kind of, help them walk through those steps of whatever it is, whether it's filling out FAFSA, finding scholarships, even planning careers. Because, we have so much that we offer at WSU Tech that we're like, okay, well, you want to do this, well, start with us, get your feet wet, figure out what you want to do, and then transfer, or maybe this is what you want to do. And, with an associate's degree and whatever it is that you're studying, you can find a good job that, is better for you in the long run.
Right. Well, I feel like going to college is already an intimidating process and a scary situation. And so then having, that communication barrier on top of that, it proves why it's so important and so vital, the work that you and your team are doing and how that is really transforming the lives of these individuals and really changing the narrative in education for a lot of these families. So I thank you for all that you're doing. It's really cool. So let's talk a little bit more about Community Navigator. For those who know nothing about the Community Navigator program, give your elevator speech. What is it? What do you guys do? Why do you do it?
So the Community Navigator program, like I said, was this idea that Sherry had, which was to place people inside of community resource centers to help them get into college. So what we do, we help people in the college and career planning process.
Okay.
So we meet people where they're at. So whether it's a traditional first-time freshman or returning adult wanting to change their careers, maybe get into something else, maybe get a technical certificate to help them out at their job, we help them find opportunities to get into higher education. Yeah. And again, we just don't stop at WSU Tech, but any school that they want to go to, we don't mind helping them out.
Yeah. Well, all boats rise, right?
Exactly.
Like at this point, like we just want students to, or individuals to better themselves. And so you being there and, I feel like with education, there's room for everyone.
Exactly.
Whether it's a technical college, a university, a community college, there's enough room for everyone, and everyone offers their own unique experience and their own unique programs that, just breaking down that barrier, it's better for the community.
Exactly. And I think that's the second piece of the Navigator program is improving communities as a whole. So my background before I got into higher education was public health. So I worked at local FQHCs and at the county for the COVID response team and things like that. So, my thing is always wanting to help people. And then, education, I believe, is like the first step into having a successful life overall, because the Community Navigator program is a holistic approach to being successful. So at least with Evergreen, we have ourselves, WSU Tech, Ariel Rodriguez and his team at Empower, which they focus on workforce development, small business development, and education. Salud y Bienestar, which is a local nonprofit that focuses on public health, so healthy eating habits. They do Zumba classes on Tuesday, free yoga classes. They just want the community to be better, to have healthy habits.
Yeah.
And then KHEDF is there as well. And then we also have the city there. So with the city, they help with utility assistance, rent assistance, and things like that. We just got another DCF worker there. So the Department of Child and Family. So it's really a one-stop shop. So if you need help with something, you just go into Evergreen, and if I don't know the answer, I'll point you to someone that can. And with education, obviously, like the more just literate you are, the better you are at reading your prescription, so you're able to take your medicine better. Yeah. Goes into financial literacy as well. So how do I read my bank statements? How do I open up a bank account and things like that? We try to address all those issues for an individual there. And then obviously with us, that we can focus on workforce development, helping people get better jobs. That just means that there's more money in the community, and the people invest in their communities. They're proud to live there on the north side. And, the more educated, the better jobs people have, the better the community is.
Right. I'd heard once a few years ago that outside of winning the lottery, there really is nothing that can change your life like education can, and completely change the trajectory of your life.
Exactly.
Other than winning the lottery, because you get that. Right. So with the Community Navigator program, right now you're at Evergreen,
yes.
Right? But you're expanding.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So 2.5 years ago, I started. And then about a year ago now, Evelyn Garcia, she started, and she's out at the Oaklawn Activity Center. Okay. Which is like down the street from the original WATC.
Right. Yeah. Down by Southside.
Exactly.
That's like K15 and 47th, right?
That's exactly where it is, behind that quick shop.
Yep.
And then as of this week, Darius McDowell, he just started, and he's going to be stationed out of the Atwater Resource Center.
And where's that?
Atwater, it's like 17th and Grove area, like 2 blocks north of Chester Lewis.
Okay, so not far from City Center.
Not far from City Center. The Shocker neighborhood, what they call it.
Okay.
So 67214 District 1 is the main area that he's going to focus on and helping that community elevate too. So the team has grown a lot in the past year. Evelyn and what she's done at Oaklawn, I think is amazing, because Oaklawn is this really weird area in... I don't want to say Wichita, because they're technically not part of the city of Wichita, but they're also not part of Derby either. They're part of Sedgwick County.
Right.
So with that, it's just they're at a bigger disadvantage than most neighborhoods, because they don't have the luxuries of being able to go to the cities for that type of help. It's Sedgwick County and what they're able to offer. But again, when we talk about the public space, it's just all the resources are really limited. So Oaklawn traditional is like lower income. It's just really hard to get people involved in the community. So Evelyn, what she's been doing at the activity center, going to after school activities, helping them, again, with their FAFSA, helping them learn about different programs and things like that. And one initiative that we've started is going out to Cooper Elementary, which is the local elementary school there in town. Okay. Because one of the biggest challenges that we see is that there's not a college going culture in Oaklawn. So a lot of kids are like, oh, well, I'll just do this because my brother did that, but my brother dropped out, and he's just like finding random jobs here and there. Yeah. So when we get that, just planting seeds at an early age, saying like, you can go to college. Look, you can take them in high school for free. After that, you can come to us, get more associates, or maybe you can go to WSU and get a bachelor's degree. But again, it's just planting those seeds of, I can go to college, I can better myself, and I can better my community.
Wow. That's so impactful. So great. So do you have a favorite story, like from the time, this past 2.5 years that maybe you can share with us? How someone has kind of changed their life through the work that you've done through, the HSI initiatives, through Community Navigator?
For sure. I think When we say HSI too, though, it's not just my team that's responsible for this duty. It's the whole college's responsibility.
Right.
So I think we've had like huge champions that help us with this. One of them being Aaron Hanneberg, who's in charge of Shocker Pathway.
Yes.
So we had a student who was a KHEDF scholar. So obviously, I kind of like talked to her like, oh, what's your major? What are you interested in? Kind of what are your goals? So I talked with her, and then I was like, okay, go talk to Aaron now, because I think Shocker Pathway is going to be the best opportunity for you. And something cool about the Hispanic community is the word of mouth. You tell one person something, they'll go tell someone else. And usually if it's a resource, if it's some sort of help that they can get, they'll go out there and tell someone else. So this student, when she went to meet with Erin, and, I told her, like, oh yeah, Erin, she'll help you transfer to WSU. She'll help you get your college credit. She'll help you save money and things like that. Yeah. She brought 3 friends with her.
Oh, wow.
And all 4 of them enrolled at the same time. Just because, someone said, hey, there's help here that, is going to better ourselves. So she brought her friends and they all got enrolled. And, she's been killing it. She transferred to WSU on a full ride for the Adelante scholarship. So again, that partnership with KHEDF and the Camarenas, they're able to go to full ride. It was a big process because they interview twice, they apply, they have like all this process that they have to go through. And she was one of the students that was, privileged enough to get chosen. And she's at WSU on a full ride.
Wow. That's so incredible. And that's just one of many stories.
Exactly. It's just all these events. I mean, just last week alone, Evelyn, she met with a mom, and they've been stressing about the FAFSA because this past year, the FAFSA has been a mess, and it's just really difficult. Sometimes it feels targeted towards certain communities that, it presents new obstacles to them. And, we feel singled out just because of, the whole mixed status family. It's just really hard to get your identity verified if you don't have a social security number. So they've been struggling for months trying to get their FAFSA done. And finally, they reached out to one of us, and Evelyn, she went out, she did the appointment with them, and at the end of it, she was able to get their FAFSA process. That the moms are like, oh my God, how much money do I owe you? And then this is what makes us feel good, is that we're able to say, oh, don't worry, this is my job. Wow. So helping these families out into something that they believe is a service that needs to be provided,
that they're willing to pay for.
That they're willing to pay for. We're just lucky, and we're fortunate enough that WSU Tech puts us in this position to be able to help those families out.
So a lot of people that are listening to this podcast are going to be your colleagues or the biggest fans of WSU Tech. So how can we come alongside you and the work that you and your team are doing to help?
Yeah. So along with the podcast, obviously, like getting that information out there, we're going to do better this upcoming year at creating a newsletter and sending it out to the college with different opportunities and events that we're going to be participating at. If you can't make it, but you want us to share information, just send it our way, and we'll make sure it's spread out. If you want to tag along, kind of see, these type of events, please feel free to just let me know. The more the merrier, I say. It's one of those things, even if you don't speak Spanish, you don't have to speak Spanish to go to these events to help. Right. We'll find some way that you're going to be able to help somebody. And then for the next FAFSA cycle, shout out Courtney with the foundation. She's been able to secure some funds for us to be able to do some more FAFSA events with Merit Trust. So again, just doing these community partnerships. They want to help Hispanic community get more banking, because as a community, we have like less bank systems, and we traditionally don't open bank accounts. Part of the issue is opening up a bank account with an ITIN can be pretty difficult. If you don't have a social security number, it gets hard. But Meritrust, you can open one with an ITIN. So again, by them partnering with us, we're hosting large FAFSA events geared toward the Hispanic community, and they're going to be out there presenting, how do I open up a bank account? How do I save money? How do I do this? How do I do that? And as far as financial goes, but again, that's just an opportunity for anyone in the college that wants to get involved. Please come out. We're going to start them in December, since the FAFSA got pushed again. So December, January, and February, we're going to have like a huge FAFSA series where they're going to be huge gatherings. We're going to have one at Evergreen, one at AMAC with USD 259, and one at Oaklawn. So again, if you've want to come out, please feel free to reach out to me. I can add one more thing, just because you said it perfectly. When we say HSI, Hispanic Serving, we don't mean Hispanic exclusive, right? Right. So just because we're doing all these initiatives that seem targeted toward Hispanic students, sometimes it's not. So like just this upcoming semester right now, one of the with the new credit tier system with how much you charge, one of the things that we saw was the out-of-state tuition. How does that affect individuals and things like that? Because now it's not really tiered if you're out of state, because that adds more percentages to how much college costs for you. And again, being undocumented or a DACA recipient, there's more paperwork that you have to fill out to get in-state tuition, because you technically weren't born here in the United States, but you went to high school here and you graduated from high school. So it's just like an affidavit that you have to fill out saying, oh, I did graduate from high school here. So what Justin was able to do is just say, you know what, that that population needs our help, so we're just going to get rid of out-of-state tuition. So now it's just one straight tuition rate for everyone that applies. So, we're thinking of undocumented DACA recipient student. I was able to talk to the International Rescue Committee and all the refugees that are coming into Wichita. Now they're able to come to school too because they don't have to worry about out-of-state tuition at a bigger scale. And again, we're talking about Somalian refugees, Ukrainian refugees, just people from all over the world, really, that, again, they're here in the United States now. Mm-hmm. They're going to be part of our community. So how do we help them better themselves to better Wichita as a whole? And again, getting rid of out-of-state tuition, now they're able to come to school with us don't have to worry about costs. And the IRC is already looking for ways to fund them to be able to come to school with us.
Wow. Sam, we could talk here for hours about all of the different things that you are doing and all of the initiatives that you have going on and how you're really changing the narrative and impacting lives, you and your team. So, unfortunately, we can't.
Right.
Bummer for me.
But, it's all right.
but I think you are really living and breathing. This was something I was thinking about the whole time while you were talking was, Sherry talks so much about collaboration for maximum impact.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a motto of hers. And the work that you are doing is really living and breathing that mantra of bringing people along and collaborating together to, like I said, make all boats rise and to make a change in our community.
We have the saying on the Navigator team and the high school team is all like, what makes our program successful is that we're out in the trenches with them. We're out in the trenches with the community. We see the struggles that they have, and that just puts into perspective the help that we need to do. It's like, I'm in this position now, so why would I want to bring everyone else up with me?
Wow. I love it. That's the way we're going to end this today, because you guys just getting out in the trenches. I love that. That's what we're about. That's what we're about here at WSU Tech, is not coming above people, but coming alongside them to change a life. So thank you so much, Sam. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for, I could just be here all day saying thank yous for everything in the way that you're changing individuals' lives. Of course. And we're excited to welcome you back sometime. For everyone that is tuning in today, thank you so much for being here and for learning more about the work that Sam and his team are doing. They're really changing lives. So I challenge you to lean in, to continue to learn more about everything that is going on at WSU Tech. Make sure you subscribe so you can stay in tune with us. And until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks.